today we'll be solving LeetCode 3576 transform array to all equal elements. So let me copy the problem and go to the whiteboard. Okay, cool. So as per the problem description, I'll brief you. So what we have to do here, we have to make entire array either 1 or either -1. That's two choice you have, and that we need to do within at most k moves. And in one move you can select ith positions and you can flip the bit, as in if it is a 1 you can flip it to -1, or if it is a -1 you can flip it to 1. You can select any of the I, and you have to flip the bit for I and I plus 1, both the positions. Okay, yeah, and you okay, and you can select the single I as many number of time as you want. Okay, so there is no constraint that I can be select only one time. You can select any number of time. Okay, so for this example, if we see, so for 1 -1 1 -1 and 1, so let's try. Okay, as for the explanations here, if you select this first positions and you flip this, so the array will look something like this: 1 1 -1 -1 and 1, and then after you will select position 2 and your entire array will become 1. Okay, so let's go with the simple observations here which we can do, which will help us to decide our approach. So at the end, our array should contain all 1 or -1. That's it, right? You can't have the combination of both. If it is so, then you had to return false. Okay, cool. So the one brute force approach which we can think is, why can't we try for each and every possibility, right? So what we can do, we'll say, okay, we'll try for 1, and also we'll try for -1 as well, and out of these two answers which will get, answer 1 and answer 2, whoever is the minimum will check if it is less than k or not, and if it is so, then we'll return true, and if it is not, then we'll return false. Cool. Okay, great. One more thing, no matter, okay, so there is one simple observation here: you cannot select the last position of the array because there is no I plus 1 exists, right? So the thing is, let's say you are opting for 1 and your last element, whether after, like, let's say what we will do, we'll try for 1, we'll go here. Okay, 1 is equivalent to what is we expected, will not change it. Next it is -1, which is not equal to 1. Will change the bit, but also will need to change the bit for the consecutive one as well. So then our array will look like 1 1 -1 -1 and 1. Cool. Then again here you will see that, okay, it's not matching with whatever you are expected here, so you will flip this, and after that it will become 1 1 1 and 1, right? So what I'm trying to say here, let's say you are going from left to right and you are end up, let's say here, if something like this case will happen, that, okay, you are expected for 1 and you do something fine, but at the last you are left with -1. So there is no way you can flip this -1 to 1. So in this case, you need to return like a maximum element, so that you cannot consider this in your answer. Okay, so this is purely an implementation problem which I feel. I'll walk through the Java code. So here you can see, I had implemented one function here, find minimum moves, and here I try for the positive ones and negative one, and at last I'll check, okay, whatever the minimum of it which is less than k, then I'll return true, otherwise I'll return false. So what this function does, let's analyze this. So here what I'll do, I'll traverse from left to right. Okay, forget this as of now. So value, whatever the value you are taking from the number of from your array which is your expected, then you don't need to change it, right? And okay, you don't need to change. But if it is not, then what you need to do, you need to change it. So you will increment your counter as well as the boolean variable which is last move will mark is as true. Why so? Because in the next iteration, if it is true, then whatever the value you are taking from the array, it's not its original, it is its original value, but you had to take it a reverse of it, right? That is what we had expected here, because it's a whenever you pick a I, you need to reverse the bit for the I and I plus 1 as well. Okay, and as we had discussed, if at last, as the case which we had discussed here, if the last move is equal to true, there is a no way you can achieve the expected for the entire array. So here I am making counter as a infinity, which is max value. So this expected will never consider into the my answer. Okay, let's try to submit this, and let's check if it pass all the cases or not. Yeah, it is. So let's quickly write down the time complexity here. So the time complexity will be order of 2n, because we are traversing the array 2 times, so it's 2 star n, which is equivalent to your order of n, and the space complexity here is order of 1. Okay, thank you.